Welcome back to the channel. Today, I have a bit of a treat for you, and because it's what it can do for you. You see, today, I'm going to introduce you to one of the most influential books I ever came across, and it played quite a profound source of information for me in my journey to become basically myself again. And today I'm going to share with you why I think it's one of the most best books, one of the great at English, huh? One of the best books you can pick up. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you plan on picking this up as well. But without any other waiting. So the book is called It Is Done by Richard DOTTS. Now, this is a very, very thin book. You can see it in the camera. It's about 100 pages. And 100 pages, and it's quite large font, too. It's not very small font either. And the reason I say it's one of the most influential books I ever came across is quite simply, so if you've been paying attention to anything going on in the last maybe 5 to 10 years, you've probably heard about manifestation. And you know what? Manifestation basically is referring to a spiritual concept about creating things out of nothing. Now, it's quite a bit more complex than that, but that's the gist of it. Now, maybe you don't believe in that. Maybe you think that's not for you, that you don't believe in any of that hocus pocus nonsense, and that's okay. Because what it also can mean is whatever you focus on grows. And that doesn't have to be spiritual, that can be anything, quite literally anything. And it's true. In neuroscience, whatever you focus on does grow, whether that's positivity, negativity, whether you focus on mushrooms. If you think about mushrooms, I'm going to focus on mushrooms. All of a sudden, you're going to notice mushrooms everywhere. Now, they're always there, except for, you've now given a command to your brain to focus on mushrooms. That's the way it's understood in your mind. So, through a system called the reticular activating system, which is a component of your own brain, it's going to filter out, the data you're receiving through your eyes, ears, all your senses, and it's going to be looking for mushrooms, or red cars, or certain types of information. Whatever you give it to focus on, it's going to focus on that. And so you can also call manifestation that. Now, the reason I say this is a very, very important book to me is that, unlike most books on the subject, it goes into the subject matter for the first less than half of the book. But the second half of the book really takes a turn into an area that I don't think is given anywhere near enough importance in the matter, and that is blockages. You see, blockages, or think of it like a scale. On one side, you have what you're trying to focus on, what you're trying to bring more of into your life, whether that's mushrooms, red cars, money, relationships, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Whatever that is on one side. And what's on the opposite side is blocks, your belief that is against what you're trying to focus on. So depending on which side is heavier, if you have a strong belief system against you having money, for instance, it's going to weigh you down, and you're going to have a very difficult time getting more money into your life, because your belief systems play a ridiculously large part in what you experience in your life. So it talks a great deal about blockages. You see, if you're like I was for a while, I need more money. Well, okay, what are you focusing on? You're focusing on your need for more money. That's not exactly what you're looking for in the first place. What you want to be focusing on is more money coming to you. That's not your need for that money, but just more money is coming to you. You want to focus on the positive aspect. But when I was doing that, I realized, it didn't take very long to realize that as much as I wanted to focus on money coming into my life, and I did get some of it, definitely, but I could feel the resistance. I could feel the blockages. It's like, when you're walking a straight line on the sidewalk, not much resistance, right? Now try to walk fast through water. When you're in a pool and you try to walk really fast to the other side, you can feel all that resistance against you. Or when the wind picks up and starts pushing you, you can still fight through it, but you can feel the resistance of it. You can feel the pushback. And that's what blockages are. They're the pushback of your own belief system, of your own conditioning. And you don't have to have any conscious part of this either. And these systems are generally put in place when you're young by other people. And they really don't know what they're doing either, or sometimes they do. Depends on the person and depends on the system that you're in. But you see, it talks a great deal about blockages, how they affect you, how, the influence they have over you. And when I was trying to do the whole manifestation thing, I really noticed that it had a huge. It's like if I didn't have much resistance on something, like for instance, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get 50 extra bucks in my life this week. Okay, did it matter to me if I had got 50 extra bucks? Nope. It didn't mean much of anything. I'd try with a 20 or something, try with a $5 bill. You don't really care. That's not big money. And guess what happened? I got 250 bucks into my life that week unexpectedly. Now, my brain was set to look for the opportunities to make that happen. So, since I'm getting so much data constantly flowing into me, I basically gave my brain a command to focus on an opportunity to make 50 extra dollars. And it found it because the brain is super powerful and it's running on so many different levels that you're not even aware of. So, I got the money and it was no big deal. Then I went for $500 and that took a lot longer, but I got it. And I put out for $1,000 and I didn't get that one. Not right away. That one took. I had more block. The higher the level was, the less I believed I can get it. That's what it was. It's a block. So I had a belief system about money being more difficult. Because $50 didn't mean anything to me. That was easy. I can easily find an opportunity for that. But when the opportunity for say $1,000 came in, my own belief system said, no, money's not that easy. This can't be real. So as the data comes in, my mind is checking it against what it's commanded to do, and then it's like, oh, maybe not. This is an opportunity for $1,000. Check it against the belief system. Do we believe that it's possible to have that? And you'll be like, no. Well, we don't believe it, so let it go. Let it go with all the rest of the data, into obscurity where I'm not really focused on it. And I noticed this with other things. The more I had a belief in the opposite direction of what I wanted, the harder it seemed to be to get that into my life. And it has a whole section on how you'll know you're progressing, in the best way, because as the resistance lets up, you're going to suddenly find these opportunities. For instance, some years ago, I went through a pretty more than a little bit of a bad breakup, and it hit me pretty bad, really bad, but it was also a key component of me growing and waking up and becoming myself. And I wouldn't trade it for anything at this point because I've become happier than I could have dreamed possible. And it's not just a momentary thing, it's a very consistent thing. But you see, when you have an event like that, regardless of how positive it may turn out, it leaves wounds, it leaves scars, and I started, some stories started to form where it's like, I didn't believe I was worthy of it. I didn't believe that I could be in a relationship again. I didn't believe I could even track people again, and so from time to time I'd go out and give it a shot and all that stuff, and happened basically as expected. It just things didn't seem to work out right. But as I continued on and continued on working on myself, wasn't giving it a lot of effort either. And I kept learning and learning and being better of the best me I could be at the time. And before I knew it, it's like I became so confident in who I was that before I knew it, I was in sort of a relationship with a woman, and we were involved in all that stuff. And it didn't really matter to me. I had so little resistance on it. I was just, if things worked out, cool. If things didn't work out, it didn't matter. It really didn't matter because I was putting more focus, for instance, more energy by my own focus into me just being the best me I could be. and I didn't really care if, say, a woman I was interested in validated me or not. It didn't matter to me because I validated me, and that's all that really matters. So, because I gave it so little importance, I really wasn't really that interested, that caring, one way or another. If it worked out, great. If it didn't, no big deal. I found it a lot easier to be involved with this person than I can remember, like, any time in the last 3 years. And it really has to do with a lot of the stuff that it talks about in this book. So, you know, this is with any book, that is nonfiction. Don't just read a book to read a book. Oh, one time, oh, that was pretty interesting, and do nothing with it. You're really missing the point. Because, well, this book, I think I paid, if I can remember, maybe $5 or something. It's hard to remember. But, I treat these books like textbooks. And, like, I'll show you. So, this, I'll just flip through some pages. See if you can see. See, I highlight stuff. See, highlights, underlines. I'll even write notes on the side. You can see more highlights here. This is a nonfiction book. Is a textbook. You see, if you get a $5 book, and luckily for most of us who will read, books are very cheap because people just don't read. Let's be honest. If you take a $5 book like this, and you could pull out even one or two concepts and actually apply them, this book could easily be a $10,000 book. You see, reading a book is great. That's cool. But it's in the application of the knowledge is where you're going to get the big bang. That's when the stuff really turns around, because you need to apply it in order to live it. So I can read about blocks all day long and how to remove them, but if I don't do anything with the information, it's not really going to be any good. And it talks about how to remove blocks as well. So I would suggest, if you got a literally spare change hanging around in your ashtray, you probably got enough spare change in your ashtray right now to buy this book. And I'll even leave a link in the description below, where you can find this book currently on YouTube in an audio format. I actually listened to it before I even bought the book, and I thought it was pretty good. And remember, a $5 book can literally change your life. Hell, a $2 book can change your life. It's all about the information inside the book. And remember, look, yellow highlighter. Go get yourself a yellow highlighter at the 99-cent store. Treat these books as textbooks, because they are. See, these kind of books are more important than the college textbooks that they'll make you pay $110 for, or $150 or $200 for. These are more important, can be more important in your life than any college textbook that you had to pay several $100s for, and you'll probably never pick up again. So, this is my information to you. This is one of the most influential books in my life. There are more, but this is a great book, and you must apply the information in order to get the benefit out of it. Even, this book must have like dozens and dozens and dozens of different things that you can apply. But if you can apply even one thing, two things, you'll see a dramatic improvement in your life, because it is in the application, the action of the information, where you're really going to get the big bang. So, until next time, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.